Most people I know enjoy the outdoors, whether it's camping, fishing, going for walks, or a drive. Today we've decided to go on a lunch campout. That's right, just a lunch campout in a maple farm. The great thing about this is, though, is we're not bringing anything with us to eat. It will be provided for us now. How great is that, huh? We're heading over to White Meadows Farms in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. So come with us and let's enjoy. Today we're going to be learning all about maple syrup. So hopefully you're up for the challenge. Well, after a long, windy road trip, we have finally arrived.
Hello,
Hi.
how are you?
So there's just a few screening questions to ask if you don't mind just looking over them.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Since we're outdoors, do we need to wear a mask?
Yes.
Yes, until you get to your own campsite, then you're...
Then we're good. You don't mind if I videotape you? I'm making a video.
Well, the only headache I have is this one.
Yeah.
What did I do with the mask that I had?
I have extras if you need them.
Oh, it's in my pocket.
As a doctor, healthcare, public order, you should be currently isolated.
Can you hold that for a second?
Don't be rude.
I only have 2 hands.
I know, but
She
people don't
doesn't
want to
mind.
touch
I don't
stuff.
mind at all.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You're a good person.
Thank you so much. So
Okay.
this over here is the brochure with all your information, what you will be getting with the lunch, as well as on the back side, the $5 coupon once you spend over $25 in the store here.
That's going to be easy.
And the
Pancakes.
wagon will be right behind me, and it will be ready to pick you guys up shortly.
Those people, we wait over here, right?
Yeah, on
Yes.
the benches.
Thank you.
There's a few benches there.
Thank you. All right, so here we are. I'm going to wear the mask until we get to our campsite. We're going to a campsite.
Well, everyone's got their own little fire pit within the woods.
Yes, this is going to be very interesting, guys. Well, there's a wagon that's coming to get us, so we have to wait for it shortly, and then we'll go for a little wagon ride. Well, we've checked in with a lovely girl at the booth, the main entrance there, and our wagon is just over there. We're going to be taking that for a short ride to our location. No, it's not a prison. All right. A hayride, also known as a hayrack ride, is a traditional American and Canadian activity consisting of a recreational ride in a wagon or cart pulled by a tractor. Somehow as a kid, though, they seem more enjoyable. It's paddy wagon. Where are you guys from? Toronto?
Get around here.
20 minutes.
Yeah, it's 20 minutes. Have you done this before? No. Seems like a nice afternoon.
So we're on our way on this hay wagon ride. Can't see too much outside because the plastic is a little dull. But it's still fun so far. There's our driver up there. There's our driver up there. My glasses is all fogged up. Yeah, look at that. Looks like we've reached our destination. Maple syrup and maple sugar were known to have been produced a long time ago by indigenous people living in northeastern America and stretches into parts of southeastern Canada. Where are we going?
That way. Enjoy it, it's good. If you're hungry.
Excellent.
I haven't had breakfast yet, so that's a good thing.
Oh, there you go.
All right, so we're going to follow this trail here and get to where we're going.
We're going to campsite 3.
Campsite 3? So here's the thing. According to Aboriginal oral traditions, as well as archaeological evidence, maple tree sap was being processed into syrup long before Europeans arrived in the region.
They have all these little campsites right here for social distancing, which is really Neat. So we're at campsite number 3. So we're going to throw.
We are at campfire number 3. We have arrived at our campfire site. The food had already been prepared and waiting for us. We went on the website, pre-ordered what we wanted, and here we are. There is no wind today, and we've got a little fire going for us, and we have some logs we're going to sit on. It's beautiful, as you can see there. The sky is lovely, nice and calm, and even if it's a little windy today, it wouldn't be that bad because with all these trees around, it blocks the wind. And let's see what we have over here.
See?
Let's check this out. We've got water. We've got some lunch waiting. There's our lunch.
Start here. Mini charcuterie box.
Tell us what we got there, Gina.
This is with us to start here. So we're going to start here with a mini charcuterie box. So let's see what's in here for a little snacky. Oh, there's all sorts of little. Oh, there's stuff to make hot chocolate or tea. So we've got specialty tea, or we can have hot chocolate.
Oh,
Hello, this is great. What's in here? Feels very warm.
oh, look at that.
So little cheese and crackers and creamers.
Cheese, crackers, creamers.
Oh, and I think that's a pickle.
Oh, nice.
So we'll start with that.
All right.
And, but I'm going to check to see what else is where. I don't know what's in here. This might be the chili. I don't know. Ah, this is the chili and our cups and our desserts.
Amazing.
It looks fabulous. There's our cups. Of course, you know me, I have to.
If you guys like camping and you don't want to do the real heavy camping stuff, this is good.
Oh, look at this. This is a maple syrup sampler.
Tell us what we got there.
Well, while we're sitting here by our fire, because we've got just over an hour and a half here, so we're going to sit and sample the different. There's 4 different types of maple syrup, and I believe it's based on how long they age in the tree. We'll find out. And then they've got some different mustards and jellies that we can buy in the store later. So this is just a little sampler for us to have.
All right. So we're going to start with some cheese and crackers, and I'm going to have some hot chocolate. I'm not cold at all. It's beautiful.
No, it's not.
As you can see, there are people on their other campsites. Brilliant idea, whoever came up with this. All right, I'm going to stop filming here for a bit. Now, each campfire site is set up with a fire already started for us, some stumps to sit on, blankets in case you were chilled, and they are spaced quite far apart so you can enjoy privacy and social distancing without bothering the other people. And to tell you the truth, we couldn't pick a better day to come. The weather was perfect. We don't get very many days like this in March that we can enjoy the calmness and the sunshine. All right,
Let's enjoy.
have some hot chocolate and some cheese and crackers.
I'm gonna sit on a blankie so my bum-bum's warm. You don't need it.
There it is, guys.
That's last cheese for you. If you want to choose. We're gonna pick some of this up.
We're gonna enjoy a little bit of snack here before we have our lunch. It's so beautiful being out here today.
Do you want to sit on a blanket? I want to little trip.
The hot chocolate's really good.
I got my cheese Kool-Aid.
I don't know if you can see those blue lines there. Those trees are being tapped for
Maple syrup.
sap. Tap for sap.
Tap for sap.
I will show you some tap for sap. Be great for kids too. So if you have any kids, and this event only goes, I believe, just beginning of spring. So March beginning of April. So during the end of winter and beginning of spring, the frozen sap of the maple tree thaws and it begins to flow. In the old days, they hung buckets and the sap drips into it. So these lines here are, these trees are tapped. As you can see all along there, they have these sort of blue lines. So these trees are all tapped for maple syrup. We are at a maple syrup farm, so you would expect a lot of maple trees. So now I've answered one of my questions is, what type of trees are these? Well, they're maple trees.
Wow, so this is turkey bacon maple chili.
Ooh, look at the steam coming out of that
Yeah,
thing.
and you've got maple beans.
Maple beans.
Then we have beautiful, I should have opened this first. Beautiful, drumroll please.
Drumroll biscuits.
Biscuits in there.
Biscuits, okay. We'll have half a biscuit to start. These are huge, look at the size.
This is one.
Look at the size of this thing.
Look at these. Yum.
And we're gonna have some chili and some biscuits. Good cheese and beans and chili. So far, so good. Lots of food here. Well worth the money. Beans is maple flavored beans. Guys, you gotta try this. Maple flavored beans. It's really, really good.
Go show my chili. So good. Have a tasty while you're there.
This is her chili.
Have a taste. It's really good.
Let's see.
Oh my God.
I like chili. I like chili. It's very good. It's a lot of food here for $35. You know, John Wayne stopped in the middle of the out west when he was traveling. They have a little fire. Except we don't have any booze, but we're having beans and almost tastes like cornbread. Well, needless to say, we enjoyed a great lunch. Everything was spectacular, the taste was amazing, so much maple flavor in the food, and we were surprisingly graced with the presence of the owner, Richard Bering, who showed up to tell us a little bit about maple syrup. So here we are, we're talking to the owner of this outfit that we just described to you and showed you a little bit, and just wondering what these blue lines are. And we have the owner right here, is Richard.
Hi.
Richard is the guy that does all this stuff, and so you had a question about the tapping, right?
Yeah.
I did, because I was on the website, and I read your brochure. And so I know the tree has about 40 years old.
Yep.
And then I guess my question is how much do you tap one tree? Because you still need the nutrients to get up to the leaves, and
Yeah.
can you overtap a tree? Or
Oh, you
not?
can definitely overtap a tree. So the tree has to be 40 years because of the amount of sugar the tree is capable of storing based on the size of the tree. Right, so we actually, the estimate, 40 years is an estimate, but we actually measure the tree. Every tree gets measured to make sure that it's large enough and it would have enough reserves for us to actually take some of it.
So it's a good time
Yeah.
to have a big waistline.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, so as the tree gets bigger, basically it has more sugar available to it. Like it has the capabilities of storing more sugar,
Okay.
and so we can take more of it as the tree gets bigger, right? So we're actually only taking, based on it's an average, right, about 10% of the sugar
Okay.
that the tree has stored over the winter. And so if you go above 15%, then you'll actually start seeing growth, slowed growth. Like if you were to cut the tree down later and like count the rings, and you'd be able to see, oh, well, I guess we tapped a little bit too much kind of thing, right? You see this different size of rings, but as long as we don't go over that 15% of the sugar that's stored, it won't affect the growth at all. Yeah.
And then the difference between the 4 syrups that we showed and sampled, which were delicious,
Yeah.
the amber, the dark, the extra dark, and I forgot the
The golden.
The golden.
Yeah,
yes.
that's the first one.
Right. So that is the time of year.
So that's the time of the season, yeah. So the very beginning of our season, when it's still really cold out and the ground's still frozen, the sap is like the purest, I guess you could say, at that point. So the sap coming out of the tree is exactly the way it is in the tree, and when we cook that sap, it creates that golden color and flavor. Then as the weather gets warmer, after the sap leaves the tree, the warmer weather changes the sap, right? So there's actually bacteria, just like, kind of like making wine or beer. There's bacteria in the sap that changes the composition of the sap. And so when we cook that sap, it changes the color and flavor. So it's that warmer weather just slowly changing just everything that happens in the sap, right? And it's a cooking process, though, that actually makes the color and flavor.
Okay.
So if we actually were able to boil all the water out of the sap without cooking it, like without heat, there would actually be no color or flavor.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It would just be sweet still, like just sweet.
And what type of syrup will be coming out of the trees now?
So right now, if we were making syrup still right now, it would be very dark. Yeah,
Very
because
dark.
it's very warm now. Yeah.
So when does
But we actually ended about 3 days ago, was the end of our season. So once the tree starts to produce their leaves,
Okay.
let's see if any lower branches here.
There's a couple of buds.
This is a maple tree. Yeah, I don't know if you can see real close, but the buds are starting to grow. Like, you don't get leaves yet, right? That comes later on, but just when the buds start to swell, they just get a little bit bigger, that's the end of the season. Yeah. So that, if we kept making syrup, you get a very, like kind of a really bitter flavor in the syrup. It's not like really sweet anymore.
Rolled at
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah.
And when would you have started then? Because we always think March is maple syrup time.
Yeah, right?
But it's really the end of
it is, well, it's only 4 weeks long.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's really just the month of March. Yeah. Some years we'll get about 6 weeks. So it's just when the weather starts to go above freezing, right? And before the trees start to grow. Yeah, so we get fluctuating temperatures through the season, right? Freezing nights, warm days normally, and that's what's giving us the different, that's what drives the actual collection of the sap. Yeah, the freezing and thawing temperatures.
Yeah. So I got a question. So you have
Yeah.
a pump that actually pump like suck?
Yeah, so there's actually like a vacuum pump that actually pulls the sap through the lines, yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
how far does this all the way back to over there and just around? It stays here. Like how far does this line go?
Oh yeah, okay, so yeah, you can't really see much of it. So
No.
so like the furthest point is kind of that way,
Yeah.
probably let's say 500 feet or so,
Yeah.
maybe closer to 1,000.
Okay.
And then, so this kind of all drains down this way, and then it kind of veers to the left, and then I think it's around 3,000 or so feet from the furthest point to where our tank is.
Okay.
And then there's another line that comes up the other side, and it goes way to the other end over there. So in total, all the lines connected together, if you'd like put it end to end, is about 50 kilometers.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's a lot of lines.
So typically, how much liquid would you say, like in terms of gallons, you would get?
Yeah.
per season?
On a good year, let's say 350 to 400,000 liters
Wow, that's a
of
lot,
sap
wow.
that we actually collect. But this year, I think we're under 300,000.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure what the actual number was yet, but
So the percentages we get is what, 40 to 1?
yeah, 40 to 1, yeah.
That's right, yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
I get 40 to 1.
So 400,000 liters of sap would make 10,000 liters of syrup, roughly, something like that.
Okay.
Is the winter temperature, does that have any bearing if we have a mild or we have a cold winter?
It helps. The colder the winter, the sweeter the sap will be. Yeah. So sap that we get here is in this forest anyway is about 1.8%. Maple trees can be as high as 4%, but we don't get that here. Just not cold enough, just different climate and everything, right? So as you get more sugar in the sap, you get more maple syrup out of it, right? So that 40 to 1 ratio is around 2% sugar. That's at 2%. So if you had 4%, that would basically cut that in half. You actually had 20 liters of sap to 1 liter of syrup. So that's a lot less boiling and a lot less processing. Yeah.
Okay. And you guys been doing this for a long time, right?
Yeah, so my great-grandfather settled on this land in 1937. So we've been here for about 80 years, but they've always kind of made maple syrup just kind of like, oh, let's try it again this year, right? Like kind of on and off.
Like a hobby?
Yeah, like a hobby type thing, right? Just like, oh, you know, we don't have a lot of equipment to fix this year, so let's make some maple syrup or something, right? So farmers, they can't stay still, so right. So so my dad.
Would you use a bucket at that time?
Yeah,
Like just
yeah, I would have all been buckets, yeah, and like boiling like literally in a pot outside kind of thing, yeah, or like outside, yeah. Right. And it would have been like maybe 10, 20 taps kind of thing, just like a little fun thing. So then my dad. So my great-grandfather did it like on and off. My grandfather did it just for fun, right? And then my dad, he started doing it just for fun, and he's like, you know what? This is great. Like I really like this, and so he made it a lot bigger. Yeah, and so that was in 88 or 89 is kind of what he started his hobby that eventually became our entire business. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. Now, might be a stupid question, but some people might not know. What's the difference between the maple syrup from this area, geographic area, as opposed to Maine or somewhere that's always talk about maple syrup there as well?
Yeah, so
with the landscape or
yeah,
the earth?
the land, the soil is the biggest factor, right? Just like wine, the grapes, where the grapes are grown is going to affect what the flavor is like. So the maple tree is exactly the same thing, although it doesn't have as much an effect, because with wine there's so many more steps involved basically, right? But where the flavor that is affected by the tree is really affected by the soil. Yeah.
Right, okay.
And so ours here, we're on limestone, so our acidity of the soil is very low, so it's very basic. And so that kind of makes like a kind of a buttery, like smoother type flavor. So if you get into like mountainous areas, usually you get like more granite, or you just don't get that kind of interaction with the soil as much, with what the stone is in that area. And then you'll get more acidic soils, and that'll kind of give more like a sharper type flavor.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of like I don't want to say spicy. It's not spicy, but
not as sweet, maybe?
it's still sweet, right? They're all the same sugar content, but just like kind of that undertones of. I'm trying to think of the word that would describe that. Kind of like a mild cheese versus like a sharp cheese kind of idea.
Okay,
they're both cheese. They both taste like cheese, but there's these kind of something more about it, right?
Yeah. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, we want to share what we have here, basically.
Yes,
so.
and I was telling Gina earlier that it's actually way better than packing a lunch and going for a picnic, because here it's all made for you. You come here and
you just show up.
Enjoy the beauty.
You just show up, yeah.
Just show up.
Yeah, you just got to show up, yeah.
You can't beat that.
Yeah, that's so true. I should use that.
And I will share your video. Hopefully people that are watching it will want to enjoy what we're enjoying here today, right? Thank you very much.
Thanks.
I appreciate that.
That was Richard Bering of White Meadows Farms. Always a pleasure to chat with him. I want to mention that in addition to the 4 flavors of maple syrup, we tasted 4 different types of mustard and jelly. Those were to die for. I mean, seriously to die for.
We've got so much food, I can't eat it all. I'm leaving my dessert. I'm not leaving, we're taking it home, but it's a lot of food for the price.
Let's open that up and just see what it is. Oh my gosh, we've got 2 beautiful piping. I'm not going to open them up, but they won't seal again.
Maple apple crisp and maple whiskey bread pudding.
So we'll share those tonight. Piping hot. Everything's piping hot. That's supposed to be fabulous.
Guys, you couldn't do a picnic for this. You couldn't have a better place to come to and have everything taken care of for you. I highly recommend it. Guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit the like button as well. And if you're ever in the area, this is White Meadows Farms. You can look it up on the internet. If you want to get away for you got to call them soon though, because it's going to end shortly. Just come on out and bring yourself, and food will be made for you. I can't say anything bad about it at all. All right.